What up? How you been? How's your family, people? I don't know. I don't even know who's listening. Whatever. Who cares? I don't know you. You know, I like you because you listen to my shit, but I don't know you. Yeah, you don't know me either yet, really. Anyway, so Sunday, this coming Sunday, so possibly the next podcast is gonna be at the new place. That's right. That's right. Said it. I'm sipping on coffee. I'm about to take y'all deep tonight. It's a fine evening. I'm watching the sunset a little bit through the trees in the mountains over here in Poynette, Wisconsin. What the fuck? Anyway. So, just got done taking a shit, came back out here, and it all came together, man. I was letting my coffee cool off in the truck while I was in there dropping bombs. And when I came back out to the truck, coffee is warm, not cold, not hot, perfect. Just right. Anyway, so now I'm cruising along and I'm going to do this here little podcast for you. All right. The reason why I say I'm taking you deep is we're going to talk about let's see, astronomy? No, not astronomy. Astrology? Yeah, maybe, kind of. Either way, we're talking about the universe. And a little thing or two that's been on my mind as far as that. Now, people, we really got to broaden our minds. And I mean that in the most the kindest way possible. But think about, okay, let's find out where to get started here. I'll tell you how we're going to get started. I'm going to sip that coffee, and I'm going to pop a dip in. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, you hear that? Yeah. But anyway, so we talk about, is there life out there, right? Is there life past what we know? Obviously, I'm going to give you the long answer because that's what we're doing. We're talking. I'm talking. You're listening. Short answer? Yeah. Of course. I mean, it's not a proven fact. I can't prove it, but I can give you a theory you can definitely run with. How about this? Is there life beyond what we know it? Yeah. When you think about it outside the box. See, a lot of people think, when they think about aliens, they think of another life form, possibly similar to us. Some people might still be thinking they're the teardrop-eyed little slimy creatures, but that's not. I mean, if you stay with that, you're not going to get very far. It's just you got to think outside the box, So here's my thought. What if now you got to stick with me on this. What if we are actually the life form outside of life as we know it? What if we are the extraterrestrial, essentially? What if, scientists, biologists, whatever, they study the human body and they find out that we have cells and then below that, it's all the way down to the microscopic, barely able to see with anything human designed level, all the way down to essentially stardust, what we're made of. And I mean, they can go really microscopic, right? We all agree with that. But just think about the cell level. I'd say just, like any of us are able to even think that level. But all right, so we're down there at a microscopic level. Now imagine on that cell is another Milky Way. Within that one cell on the human body. Now if we, you got to follow me here. Back out. Now we're back to the human body. Now imagine that our Earth and our sun and our galaxy is literally just a tiny little spot on a giant being. Now, the thing that I'm having a problem with is we're always talking about life forms that we can, I guess, quantify. You know? Life forms that we can imagine the size of. You know what I'm saying? Like a 3-foot tall alien, or maybe even bacteria or something on a different planet. And that's the level we're thinking at. I'm asking you to go deep. I'm asking you to go, think about the size, measurement, the size of an extraterrestrial life form. It could be, we might necessarily not even be on a cell level to whatever we're on. Because it gets to a certain point where the darkness beyond space is incomprehensible. We don't know how far it goes. We don't know what how far it is. We don't know how far it goes. We don't know what's next out there beyond light. So I understand that it's never ending, but if you take your mind out of human size and think, there maybe we're just like a mole or something on like another giant human. It's all just, and then a giant human has us in a cell on its arm, and then you come down to our level, and then we have arms, and what if we have a cell that has a different galaxy on it, universe, multiverse? It's crazy. But that's my theory, is how, when you think about the size of it. Isn't that something? You don't hear many people talking about, like, stuff like that. Just a little theory of mine that I've talked to with a couple people about it, and they just sit there and they kind of stare at me like deer in headlights look. But I just can't believe that, man. Look at this guy working on the side of the road, and he's outside of the cones. You got to be some kind of brave dumbass. I'm having a good evening, man. It's got a good sunset, and there's no traffic. Just out here on the open road, just me and the truck, I like it. I'm heading back. I'll be back this weekend. Like I said, today's Thursday. Sunday, I'll be moving in completely. See how much money I got left over, and maybe go up there and grab a mic and set the computer up. Get all that stuff switched over and set up and everything like that. Man, it's going to be so fun. I don't know why, but I'm so excited about it. It's just got me tickled to death. Just thinking about getting that pure sound, coming through and having an actual place where I can sit down and gather my thoughts. Maybe come up with a few bullet points to talk about instead of driving along and just rambling at the mouth whenever I come up with a subject. Or maybe I've been on the phone with House or any other friends or my girl, coming up with ideas. That whole prison thing. I mean, I know I've done a few podcasts now, but that prison one is the one that still blows my mind. Just the sheer insanity that we have in America. The private prison system is just. It just makes you sit back and go, wait, this is real. This is actually something. The whole private prison thing. I don't know. I got a lot to learn before I move to Florida and go to heaven. That's my retirement goals. It's just there's some things that I've also done I did some research on, and I know this might be old news and I don't care, but whenever I get onto a subject, I got to talk about it. I got to talk to somebody. That's why I started this podcast, man. Once I start thinking about something, I got to get it out. It's like my head keeps filling up with information. I got to get it out somehow. So this is my venue, my avenue of getting it out. But I was doing some research on Bernie Madoff. And I mean, I spent an entire day on this guy. Just recent, and I mean, not an entire day like, an afternoon. I mean, like, I woke up, I seen something on him, and I've heard his name before in the past, and I never really paid any mind to it. I've got tunnel vision like you wouldn't believe. I imagine a lot of people do, but mine's like a severe case. Like whenever I'm doing something, I don't want to think about anything else. Like nothing else. And, but so I've heard his name in the past. I heard his name back whenever everything went down. I heard his name, this, that, and the other. He was on the news for a long time. And, so I was like, you know what? I got to find out what this dude's deal is because he's a big icon in the United States. Well, he's infamous, as they say, because he's essentially the Ponzi scheme artist. But he's the one that's all right. Let me throw a number out there, and I'm pretty sure I'm right about this number. But $56 billion he stole from some of the richest people in the world, and some of the moderately rich people. I mean, it started off, with shitheads. Just people that, and not shitheads, but just people that are trying to make more money, and so they invested money into him, assuming that he was going to play the stock market with it, and he guaranteed a 1% a month return with your money. And so you would go to your bank and you would take out 50% of your life savings or so, or what they originally started doing was 50% or so, and giving it to him. And they would just let it sit with him, just here, write you a check, $50,000, and here you go. And he would say, okay, I'm going to, do some trading, and I'll send you statements letting you know, where you're at financially, and we'll go from there. And in the agreement, it's a 1% a month return. So, all right, so that guy gives him, $50,000. So he's got $50,000. What does he do? He puts it in his banking account, his checking account, just up there, fucking, random Bremer Bank or Wells Fargo or some shit. A bank account. He goes and puts it in his personal bank account and talks to the next guy. And this is just a rundown of what he did. This is not exactly what he did. This is just what he did. This is a Ponzi scheme. So he gets $50,000 for the first guy, goes to the next guy, gets $55,000 from him, takes that $5,000, that extra $5,000 he got from the second guy, and he takes, well, not the extra $5,000, but he would take the $55,000 and let's say that first guy, he's got 1% return, so he just shows him on a piece of paper that he got a 1% return that month, and it shows him down at the bottom, it shows him what his final balance is. So instead of $50,000, it's $50,000 plus 1%, which is whatever that is. And so you do the math, but so he's got extra 1%, and all he does is shows it on paper. He gives him a settlement sheet, not a settlement sheet, but a statement. So he's doing this, and now he's got $105,000 in his bank account, and he's got two people that think they're making 1% every month. Well, I mean, if you got $50,000 with the guy, and he's telling you you're making 1% a month, and he's showing you on the statement your money going up, hell, you're not going to pull your money out, right? Fuck that, leave that in there. If I'm getting 1%, just keep building on it. So that's what these two guys did. Sorry. Then he's got the third guy coming up, and now at this point he's got $105,000 in his banking account, so he's smooth talking. You know what I mean? He's like, "Yeah, hey, what's up?" So he says to the next guy, or to the two guys that he's got the money from, he tells them, "Look, I want you to spread the word, and but if the person doesn't have $50,000 or above to give me, then I don't want to do business with them." So now you got a guy. Oh, you got to be in a part of a club. You got to kind of be in a 50,000 plus club to use them. So he's got a name at this point. So now you got $100,000 guys coming in, dropping money on him, and so this guy's banking account is exploding.